1992 was a big year for movies, for music, for comics, for cartoons especially. Fox Kids' Batman debuted in September of 1992, and less than a month later, Marvel's X-Men animated series, a licensed cartoon from the then nearly bankrupt company, set the stage for, like the Phoenix, the death and eventual rebirth of Marvel as something that came to dominate global culture. This week, we're celebrating and talking about the 30th anniversary of the X-Men animated series. I'm Dan Umpton, and this is the Doomcast. Hey, thanks for checking this out. Do me a favor and hit subscribe and the bell. I make about one of these videos a week, and they're all great, so don't miss it. Now, as much as the Batman cartoon was decidedly refined, meticulously conceived and written, designed and scored, a bit of cinema, 30 minutes at a time, X-Men the Animated Series was a bit of a mess from the get-go. October the 31st of 1992 saw the airing of a special sneak preview of the first episode of the X-Men, which was Night of the Sentinels, albeit in an unfinished form. The first episode of 13 had been ordered, produced, and animated from ACOM, a group in South Korea which had delivered the animation late and unfinished, and so that scheduled first episode was run as a mere preview. This wasn't the first time that Fox attempted an X-Men TV series with Marvel. Margaret Loesch, probably more responsible than any other for the Batman, X-Men, and Power Rangers hegemony becoming cultural touchstones, she had championed the predecessor series, Pride of the X-Men, which had focused mostly on Shadowcat. You remember. It was the one where Wolverine was Australian for no good reason at all. This series, however, focused on the Jim Lee X-Men Blue Team primarily, and adapted several stories from classic and near present at the time X-Men and X-Men adjacent comics, rather than Batman, which was purely episodic and at most ran two-part episodes, even if it did have recurring characters. X-Men was ahead of its time, with full story arcs that ran through single seasons or even longer. Night of the Sentinels itself opened the door to subplots with Morph, a character designed specifically for that series, the other Sentinels, Friends of Humanity, Graydon Creed, and so forth. And from the get-go, X-Men established how high the stakes truly were. The second episode depicted Morph apparently dying off the bat, only to be later revealed to be alive. Characters developed over time from one-dimensional pastiches into more complete characters. From Storm's claustrophobia, Jubilee's ostracism from her family, to the love triangle between Scott, Gina, and Logan, Kurt's struggle to reconcile God and man, the X-Men brought characters that mostly Chris Claremont had brought to the forefront of comics fandom over the prior 15 years, out of a relative obscurity from the dustbin of Marvel's franchises. And the theme song and opening, no lyrics, just a sick bass line and strings that felt very intense. Now instantly recognizable as long as you didn't grow up watching Hungarian police drama in the late 80s, where the theme's hook was very, very likely lifted from. But the theme's lasting and indelible flavor has been held over even when it ended up introducing Xavier in Multiverse of Madness recently. But the lasting legacy of the X-Men animated series went far, far beyond the mere cartoon. Marvel purchased Fleer and then in 1993 Toy Biz. From the pervasiveness of trading cards as a quick reference guide to every single character for many kids, myself included, the Toy Biz X-Men toy line became one of the most successful toy lines of its day. And during Marvel's 1996 bankruptcy, Toy Biz was one of the only parts of that company that remained profitable. So after Carl Icahn's restructuring of Marvel into Marvel Entertainment Group and later Marvel Studios, a trilogy of X-Men films paved the way for support of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the Marvel toy line that opened the door for Toy Biz and later Hasbro's Marvel Legends toy line paved the way for the same. And next year, the 60th anniversary of the X-Men, a continuation of the original series X-Men 97, begins on Disney Plus. It'd be hard to imagine modern Marvel comics without the X-Men, especially without the influence and popularity that the animated series brought to them, establishing their lore firmly in the minds of a new generation. Thanks for watching. This has been the Doomcast. We'll see you next week.